What's up, everybody out there? Y'all know what time it is. Welcome to Free Game. You here with yours truly, WonGotti. I know y'all used to Chuck bring y'all in, but he ain't gonna be with us today. Actually, we're not gonna have no host with us today, but me. But we do got some familiar faces to the show. We got yours truly, CW. What's up, Doug? We got Jared. What's up, Jared? And we gonna get into some recap on the NFL. So first up, I'm gonna talk about the Cowboys versus the Vikings game, which is a nice game. We got yours truly, a Vikings fan on the panel, Jared, and me, a Cowboys fan. So we had to handle that L. 2016, Cooper Rush came out the game with a nice 325 yards in the air and 2 TDs, and one of them was a game winner. He had 1 interception on the game. Mari Cooper had 8 catches, 122 yards with 1 TD. CeeDee Lamb also contributed with 6 catches and 112 yards. Even Cedric Wilson chipped in with 3 catches and 84 yards and a touchdown. He even threw a touchdown, a beautiful ball, by the way. I just want to get y'all to chime in a little bit on the game. Jim,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I had to watch it, rocking with the Vikings for sure. Man, honestly, when I saw that Cooper Rush was starting the game, I'm like, I thought Cooper Rush was a winery. Like, I thought that was like a restaurant that you go, but no, Cooper Rush. I don't know what happened, man. The Vikings made him look like a starting quality or starting caliber quarterback. He's obviously, I think he's probably not. But with that said, the Vikings are a team where on our best day we can compete with anybody, and on our worst day we can lose to the backup quarterback, surrendering like 20 points total or something. So it's just frustrating. That's the life of a Vikings fan, though. We marched down the field in the first play, touchdown, I believe, to Adam Thielen, and it looked like that was about to be all night, and yet you turn around and next thing you know, you lost the game to some random backup. So yeah, that's how the Vikings are going. But on the flip side, I think you have to take a look at the Cowboys team and just think like, man, this is a legitimate team. Obviously, we hope that Dak Prescott with the calf injury, it may or may not be related to the ankle situation, but as long as he's healthy, as long as he's in there for real, that offense is stacked. I don't know that there's a team that has 2 better running backs, like between Zeke and Tony Pollard. Like, that's a legitimate.
There's one.
I think Doug might have something to say about that.
He might have something to say about it, but when you look at it, like, you've got Ezekiel Elliott who's back like he never left. Like, last year obviously was a down year for him, but then you have Tony Pollard pitching in. He's averaging more yards per touch than any other back in the league. Like, that's legit. And then obviously you've got the wide receivers on the outside. You've got Trayvon Diggs on defense. So yeah, it's a legitimate team. And I think if you're a Cowboys fan, Juan, you gotta be thinking like you got a deep playoff run in the future.
It's looking pretty good for me. I ain't gonna lie. I came into this game not knowing what was gonna happen because Cooper Rush obviously hasn't played nothing but like I think 3 snaps in his career as a starting quarterback. So
yep.
But that's scary. That was scary. So I didn't know what to expect into this game. So I'm like, I'm just gonna throw this week away. But I actually in pregame I was looking to speak on Dak's calf injury. I was looking at him in pregame and he was looking pretty good. So
yeah, I think he's fine. I think they just being conservative.
Yeah, I think they were saying that if it was a playoff game, he would have played, right? I think that's what they were saying. But at the same time, you got to be conservative with your franchise quarterback who just came off of one of the most devastating injuries I think we've ever seen.
Well, isn't it wild that in the offseason there was really a debate if he should get the money?
Oh yeah,
right.
Like that was really a thing at one point. And you look and it's like he has. I wouldn't have said this 2 years ago, but he reminds me, his mentality reminds me of like a Brady. I don't know if he'll ever get the rings or anything, but like he doesn't go to lose. He plays to win every single time. He galvanizes his team. If he has a minute, or a 2-minute drill left, you just know like there's a chance this dude can put you out no matter who you are.
Yeah, I love that, and that's crazy about to speak about the offseason and whether he was gonna get the money or not and what should he get, and I'm like, man, pay that man.
Yeah, give
We
him the
ain't had
money.
this a long time.
Yeah, yeah, because
Pay
he
that.
would have been up in Chicago or something easy. They would have
No doubt.
scooped him up real quick.
But now with him standing out this week, though, I'm like, man, we run the ball so well. I'm thinking like, man, we could
Yeah,
just keep the ball, hold possession, long possession. I'm like, I know we can hold it down. But even to say that, Zeke came in the game and had 16 carries and only had 50 yards, and he really didn't make a impact play until the end of the game. I think when they gave him a throw on third down
yeah,
to make first before the game went touchdown. I think he brought like 4. That was an amazing play. We might have to tag that play on her. But he only had 50 yards. For Cooper Rush to come in and have 325, that's crazy. That speaks
yeah,
to
yeah.
got an off a receiver.
He definitely
That's
come up from Danucci.
Oh yeah, and not Danucci, but yeah, no doubt. But man, I don't know if you guys are watching this live, but when Cedric Wilson hit that pass on the deep slant, like
Yeah.
that was an absolute dime.
Yeah, that was a
Like
30.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that was a damn. Yeah, I think Jared, you said that was the ball of the night for you.
Yeah, that was the pass of the night. I mean, obviously, it is hard to take it away from Cooper Rush with the game winner, but still, in terms of a beautiful looking ball, that was a tight spiral. It was hit him in the hands, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cowboys definitely on the up and up though. But let's get on to this next game.
Mhm.
Next game I want to talk about here is the Bucks versus the Saints. A surprising upset here, actually. The Bucks actually lost this game 27-36. Jameis Winston started this game off, but got hurt early in the first quarter. Yeah, actually, some reports saying he tore his ACL, so that'll be
Yeah,
big. Thanks to
that's true.
seeing who their next quarterback gonna be. So Jameis Winston started this game off. He ended it with 56 yards and a touchdown, and then Trevor Simmons came on. Simmons came home at that point. And he actually ended the game with 159 on that Bucks horrible secondary. With all their injuries over there, 159 a touchdown. And AK actually came up big in this game with 61 rushing yards and a touchdown also on 19 carries. But I just want to get started on this Bucks defense right now. It's scary. It's scary.
It's pretty elite. The way that they stop the run is just it's second to none. I think they got the best pass rush. I think the Browns are far second when you think about their pass rush, and the Rams are probably going to move up there. The Rams might move the first, thinking about Von Miller coming. That's a real scary tandem too. But the way that this unit holds together and stops the run is just really, really uncanny. I mean, they stopped the best of them, the Derrick Henrys.
I mean, that's true, but at the same time, I think, Juwan, to your point, like when you look at the secondary, the pass that they're giving up, that's going to keep the opposing team in the game a lot of the time, right? And when you look at, so what are they now, 6-2, right? I think the Bucks are 6-2 now. Mm-hmm. When you look at some of those 6 wins, that final score looks pretty lopsided. But I think it was the game against the Falcons. That was a tight game until the last quarter when they got a couple of defensive touchdowns. Mm-hmm. To your point, Dub, like that pass rush, that line can get there. They can force some turnovers. But I think if there's a weakness for this Buccaneers team, it's got to be the secondary.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah. That's for me too. But to go back to the game, to speak about on the Buccaneers, Brady came out of this game with 375 yards in the air and 4 touchdowns. But he also had 3 major turnovers that really impacted the game, and that was the 2 interceptions and the fumble. And one of those interceptions here was a pick 6. I forget who took it. I think it was Patrick Williams. He took it all the way back to the crib. And that's crazy. That impacted the game a lot. That was a big part of it, countering a big part of them losing. But he included Godwin a lot with 8 catches and 140 yards. He also had a touchdown. And Evans, I don't know what it is with him and Evans. He's on and off in some weeks. So
Juwan, I feel like they need to explore maybe trading them, which sounds really crazy. It's probably a hot take for some people, but you got Godwin and AB, and you have 2 really good tight ends. I just feel like
they have so many weapons. That's the crazy thing.
That's right. Get a pick, get a really good pick, and get get Tom Brady's successor, right? Like you might have him 2-3 more years, but you can get a guy to groom behind him and just really cultivate an Aaron Rodgers-esque type of situation if you get the right quarterback in the backup.
Speaking about AB, I think he gonna be returning next week. They say. But I don't know about him and Evans. They just off and on, and these is one on off games because he had 4 targets for 2 catches and 48 yards and a touchdown. But the 2 catches thing, his targets either got to come up, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and I want that offense though. Yeah, no, I mean in that offense, there's so many mouths to feed. You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna have last week he had 3 touchdowns in the first half, I think. Right? Like
exactly.
So you're gonna have boom or bust type games with him. I don't know. I don't think you can trade Mike Evans. I feel like he's probably one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league. I think you'd say
for sure.
And AB when he's on the field, he's electric, but he also misses a lot of games. So I think having 2 really high quality wide receivers in Godwin and Evans who are generally going to be there for you, I think that's valuable. What's wild. I think like Tom Brady is like almost as old as my dad, and he's actually dominating. He's like dominating the NFL. Even like watch that game, he looked like he was disinterested. He looked like he wasn't even there.
It's so easy. It's muscle memory.
Yeah, he's like when something doesn't go right, he's like staring it down for an extra 2 seconds. Like what just happened? How did I miss? And then you look at the final stat line. He's got almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
He's 40-some years old, leading the NFL in yards. I think also leading the NFL in touchdown passes. It's just crazy to watch.
He got them. He's a generational talent. I mean, he has the mentality to back it up. He's a savant of the game. He's like a LeBron. He just picks it apart. He knows the spots, how to make it happen. You don't have to be the most athletic in the moment. And I think we're seeing that, if people are willing to protect their quarterbacks and the quarterbacks take care of their bodies, they can have some longevity. And so I'm interested to see what quarterbacks learn from him and transition into the future.
Yeah, dude been dominating for decades. It's crazy. That's I want to bounce back to the other side too on the Saints and speak on some quarterback issues they have. I actually been seeing some reports say they looking at the Cam, and then I see some that they say they're not interested because I know they got what's the guy's name, the backup?
Taysom Hill.
He'll
be coming back.
I think he's on concussion protocol right now. That's why Trevor have to look at the look in the game this week.
And he looked decent, honestly.
Huh?
He looked decent, honestly.
What did Trevor Siemian play in college? Was he a Michigan guy?
I cannot recall. I'm not for sure.
Northwestern, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be wrong.
Yeah, he went to the Broncos for a while, and then they traded him off.
That's right.
When he had those Vine's prime days. But we gonna go on to the next game here. I want to talk about the Patriots versus the Chargers. The Patriots came out on top of this game. This was another upsetter game. The Patriots 27, the Chargers 24. Mac Jones had 218 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Damian Harris was big in this game with 23 carries and 80 yards and a touchdown. And that was pretty much it for the offensive side of the ball for the Patriots. This was a defensive game here. But Justin Herbert on the other side had 223 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 big interceptions. That was a major impact on this game. That changed this game. Because everybody pretty much ate outside of Jared guy, Mike
Williams.
Everybody else pretty much ate. Eckler had 64 yards rushing. Also had 6 catches and 60 yards and a touchdown on the rushing side. Keenan Allen even had kicked in with 6 catches and 77 yards and a touchdown. I want to talk about this Charge decline. The last 2 weeks they've been losing. They're on 2-game losing streak. So I want to talk about that. What y'all think these guys need to do for the future? Because they got out to a hot start. Justin Herbert was pretty much set to be an MVP candidate. But these last 2 weeks been ugly with the loss to Baltimore and now the Patriots. That's a real upset right here.
Yeah. I think there's a combination of things. One, the first few games won't tell you everything. And I think that's something in our excitement we just forget and not think about that, the real defensive minds get an opportunity to figure out who you are when they get some tape. right? And last year's tape doesn't do that. And so I think with Justin Herbert coming back and finally having some real good tape on him, I'm not saying they figured him out, because I do think he's a like cerebral talent. I think he's going to be really, really good. But I think that there's a reality that coaches know how to plan a little bit more for him. And then also, I think we got to really address the elephant in the room that Keenan Allen is not a number one receiver anymore, at least in this moment. He doesn't look like that anymore. And it's not that he's not talented, but Eckler's eating really well. And he's a pass catching back as well, which I don't think Melvin Gordon necessarily was to his degree. And then also the emergence of Mike Williams this year. So we'll see if that keeps up. And then, they picked up tight end from the Saints. Yeah. And so with that pickup, you have multiple receivers, and it's not all dependent on Keenan Allen anymore. And I just wonder if he's the type of guy who's going to command the offense to go through him.
I don't know. Go ahead, Jared.
Now you got
it. Keenan Allen, for me, I think he's still one of those top guys out there as far as it goes. I think they're just spreading the wealth right now. They're just giving everybody their fair share. Because you speak on Eckler, he's one of those guys that can go out and play wide receiver like a AK or a Le'Veon Bell type of back, where he can go out and actually get in the receiver stance and go out and catch routes and stuff like that. And when you got something like that, you got to use it. So, and then you could sprinkle your Keenan Allen in here and there, and then you can go Mike Williams, and they even got the young guy. I forget his name.
Justin Jefferson.
That's
the Vikings guy.
Justin Jackson.
Jackson.
Yep. Fast guy. I forget his name. I don't want to say it wrong. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. But yeah, they got so many weapons. It's like you gotta spread the rock. You gotta hit him and him. But I think Keenan Allen, he definitely the number one for sure. But Mike Williams been definitely going crazy though.
It's a big body to hit, man. And when he get that slant going, it's like, what do you do?
I mean, when it's like you could just throw it up, and his catch radius is so why throw it up anywhere? He could just grab it. Why not? What say, Jerry?
No, I mean, look, Dub, I think your point a minute ago about you don't want to judge a team based off the first few weeks of the season. I think that's true, but at the same time, you also don't want to get too caught up in the recency bias, because they do have some decent wins on the schedule, and then they've got 2 losses in a row. So I think these next couple of weeks, obviously for them, are going to be crucial. Can they bounce back from a couple of bad weeks? Especially coming off the bye week to go out and lose the Patriots like that definitely hurts. But can you get out there and can you get that offense reignited? Can you get that Herbert to Williams connection bounce, coming back? Can you get Keenan Allen going to a degree that he hasn't been going so far this year? Or, have teams kind of figured them out, right? Like is the formula just pound the rock? Because obviously, if you watch that defense at all, they cannot stop the run for nothing. Like Damian Harris, I think he had almost 100 yards, but it looked, just watching the game, he should have had close to 200. Like every time he touched the ball, every time they fed him the rock, like he was getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, like it was nothing. So, I think with the Chargers team, they're going to have to put up points to stay in these games, because their defense is not that great. And I think we're seeing a couple of teams like that this year, not just them, but also the Chiefs. If your defense can't keep up, then your offense has to, and that's a strain to put on an offense week after week.
Right. And they played a Belichick defense. I mean, that's
right.
We can't understate that enough. He prepares for you.
Well, and people forget the Patriots. The Patriots beat the Chargers last year 45-0. Like Belichick seems to have Herbert's number to some degree or another. And it's not just Justin Herbert, but it's like every young quarterback in the league, he does something to mess with them. So
not necessarily every young quarterback. It's like whatever you do best, he takes it away. You're going to have to beat him another way.
Yep.
And I actually talk about the Patriots, but I want to go over this next game first because it ties into the Patriots. I want to talk about this Bills game versus the Dolphins. They beat the Dolphins 26-11. And Josh Allen had 249 yards in the air with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he also led the team in rushing with 55 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground. And his leading receiver was Cole Beasley with 110 yards receiving, and Diggs was right behind him with 5 catches and 40 yards in the touchdown. I want to talk about that division, the Bills and the Patriots. They fighting right now for that one spot. I think the Patriots down 1 game. Well, they sitting at 4. What is it? 4-4 or 4-3, and then the Bills are right on top of them at 1 and 5 and whatever.
Yeah, I think they got a game lead on them.
Yeah.
They've got a 1 or 2 game lead. I mean, the Bills are obviously, to me, the Bills are obviously the best team in the division. I think they're one of the best teams in all of football right now. But the problem that I see with them is they play down to their level of competition. Like they play up and they play down. You know what I mean? Like it seems like, when they play Miami, that game was 3-3 for a long time. Like that, Josh Allen, he went crazy, but at the same time, that was mostly in the second half. Like if you're going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender, you have to be able to put teams away, in the first half, not just the second half. So on the other hand, that their defense obviously is elite, one of the best defenses in football right now. Josh Allen is looking like one of the best quarterbacks in football right now. So it's hard to say much negative about them, but at the same time, I think they seem to have a tendency to match the level of their competition rather than just playing their game week after week.
I ain't gonna lie. I think the Patriots right down they bump because I think this dub over the Chargers, this was a huge dub for them because the Chargers was one of the top teams and not just that division but the league.
Yeah, that's a confidence booster.
Yeah, they got to be a confidence booster for Mac Jones, the young quarterback there.
And at the same time, it was Mac Jones' worst game of the season. I thought,
true.
Mac Jones did not play
Look,
well.
I was in a place where I had to play him in fantasy, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, and if you watch the game, he was his thing, right? The thing that everyone kept saying about him is that he hits his receivers, he's accurate, right? He's accurate. He's got the Tom Brady accuracy, but when you watch the game, he was sailing passes left and right. So, if they can get that figured out, plus keeping the run game going, they obviously have 3 pretty solid running backs between Harris, Stevens, and Bolden, but so if they can get both of those going, that then I might agree with you. But I'm gonna have to see it all put together before I'm ready to say the Patriots are doing anything this season.
Yeah, and
Mac,
go ahead, Joanne. My fault, brother.
Mac, wherever you at, I hope you watching it. Jay say put some mustard on your arm now. Put some mustard on them pros.
I just want to see it. I just want to see some accuracy in a game that matters. That's all I'm saying.
What was you gonna say, Doug?
I'm very shocked by the whole Tua situation. I mean, I know he's just coming off an injury, but
I was gonna speak on that too.
The jury's really out on him. I just don't know if he's that guy there. And I hate that young quarterbacks only get 2 years. And I mean, he hasn't even really had that. He's been there 3 years, but he's been injured a lot. Yeah. And so I don't know if we get a full gauge. It might be time for a change of scenery, but I don't know if they can wait with what they've set up.
And that's what I want to talk about with the Deshaun Watson talks. Yeah, I think this stuff is gonna come to life with these days coming, with the trade deadline coming. Do y'all think this is possible, the Deshaun Watson to Miami trade? Because that will obviously mean Tua got to get shipped off back to the Texans, of course.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I really don't. There's just too much uncertainty, right? Obviously, with everything that's happening with Watson off the field, you've got a lot of very serious allegations, and the civil side of that. If they want to settle them, they can settle them, but you can't control the criminal process, right? So however that plays out is going to play out. And then if you're thinking about, from Miami's side, if you're really going to try and mortgage your future for Deshaun Watson, if you know that he's going to be on the field, that he's going to be playing, he's one of those quarterbacks that's worth it for. But at the same time, you can't give up everything that you have to give up to get Deshaun Watson if you don't know that he can play. And again, obviously with everything going on with him off the field, there's no guarantee he's going to play this year, next year, or after that. So, I really don't see it happening this year. I think if anything, he might get dealt, before the draft this coming year, but this coming draft. But especially with the fact that everyone's saying there's not a whole lot of quarterbacks in this next draft. But I really don't see it happening before the trade deadline.
Well, and then you wonder about things like the ticket sales and stuff like that. With the allegations against them, like how much will it hurt their brand? Everything's alleged at this point, but 22 allegations is pretty. I mean, that's pretty damning to have 22 different people pose the same allegations. But to have that and to carry it in an organization, it's hard to be the leader of a team, the face of a franchise, when that's a real thing that you carry. And even if you are acquitted, you still have that, that muck that follows you. So I really wonder if they want to even be associated with that. I mean, we'll see, but
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to wait until you know what's going on, right?
yeah.
Or
if
at
it
least
is-
to court, right into courts make their decisions, because I don't think the NFL is going to make a decision on like how many games he gets suspended or like that.
Yeah,
Until the
They
court-
said they won't.
absolutely. I mean, you've got, there have been a lot of situations in the last 10 years where people are accused of pretty serious stuff off the field, and
Mhm.
separate and apart from whatever consequences they're facing off the field, they might go on the commissioner's exempt list for who knows how many games. So again, I think if we're just thinking about it from a pure football standpoint, as an organization, I don't think you can give up, 3 first-round picks and whatever else to acquire a guy that you don't even know if he can play for you, this season or next season, let alone going forward. And obviously, with what Dub is saying, like, you also have to take a very serious look in the mirror. Like, can we start a guy who's got these sorts of allegations against him? And potentially the only way to know that is to have some clarity, on whether or not have some clarity on what the situation is. So, that's why I don't think it's going to happen this season. I think it could potentially happen next season, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
All right, let's get on to the next game here. And the next game I'm gonna do here, this is a team where we all got our favorite teams. I'm a Cowboys fan, Jared's a Vikings fan, and Dub is a Cleveland fan because Dub is actually from Cleveland. But this is a team we all cheer for because we all are from Chicago, so we have to cheer for these guys. And this is the Chicago Bears. And this following week they played the 49ers, and this was a tough game actually because Justin Fields didn't play that bad, but he didn't play that good. He actually had a great game on for real.
No.
Great.
Man,
Like,
look, I have never been as a Bears fan. Look, we moved to Chicago when I was about 12 years old. I've drank the Kool-Aid since then. I'm a Bears fan through and through, except when they're playing the Vikings. It is what it is. But I have never been this excited to see a Bears loss because if you watch Justin Field, if you saw what he was doing out there between the lines, that touchdown run he had against the Niners, that looked like some backyard, football stuff like that. Like that was like when the dude that is about to be a D1 athlete is playing with some scrubs behind the school. Like that play was nasty. And so that's why we've been excited as Chicago fans for this guy. Like, yeah, there've been a lot of points in the season so far where it's not looked good, where he's airmailed some passes, where he's missed some easy stuff, where he held on to the ball too long or whatever else. But the talent, the potential is there. And as a Bears fan, we just haven't seen that in years, in a long time. I mean, our best quarterback of the last 25 years or so was Jay Cutler. And like my man was good for about a season and a half. And so like we've got some potential now. There might have to be some coaching situation, some coaching changes or something, but at the same time, the future does look bright with Justin Fields under center. I'm excited for it.
I'm not gonna lie, Jay. I'm right behind you as a Chicago kid, born and raised. I'm right behind you. I'm very excited for the future with Justin Fields. We got to get him some help on that line, though, and we might do coaching change, like you said. but this game results it didn't go in our favor this week. The 49ers actually won this game 33-22. Jimmy G had 322 yards in the air. He had no touchdowns in the air, but he had 2 rushing TDs. Surprisingly, I don't think he had any yards. I think he had like 5 yards off 2 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy. But his running back, because the guy Moisture is hurt. He tore his ACL or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the season or something like that. So they got Elijah Mitchell is his backup, and he's in there, and he got 18 carries off 171 yards on our Bears defense. On our Bears defensive line, he got 171 yards. That's crazy.
Well, you missing Khalil Mack, so
yeah. But you got your Eddie Goldman's out there and your Kim. We can't give up 171 now.
Ain't the Saints, D.
That's tough.
It ain't the Saints front.
Yeah. And they also had Debo also contributed with six catches and 171 yards in the too. So Eddie Jackson, I need you to tighten up too as well. But on the other side of the ball, Justin Fields had 175 yards in the air in a touchdown and 103 yards on the ground with a touchdown. And his amazing touchdown run to speak on that Jared talked about. The guy went to the right and reversed back to the left. He broke a lot of ankles on this play. And when he got to the end zone, you could see the emotion flowed out of him. Like, finally.
Yeah.
That was who we drafted. That was who we drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like coming out of the Ohio State University.
Yeah,
that's who we drafted. That's what we wanted. So I love to see it.
This is what I've been waiting on. So I ain't gonna lie. I need to hear from you. What do you think? What's next for these Bears? What's the next move? What we need to make? Because right now we on a 3-game losing streak, and it's getting ugly.
Well, like you see, I think the next move is you moving to Arlington Heights. That's the first move. But I feel like the Bears. I really am wondering what is the future with Allen Robinson. Because I think the talent is there. He's shown it year after year. And I wonder, do you pull a trade off and get leverage, get ready for the future, or get a different receiver of some sort, or do you stick with him? I'm just wondering if that's something that might need to be explored with the Bears. But for the most part, I feel like the team itself is a playoff built team if Justin Fields sits well in the offense and really learns how to command the team and do well. And I think the biggest question, are you going to stick with Nagy? Will they stick with Nagy? Because I feel like, I heard today on the radio, they were saying he's like, the players love him. He's a player's coach and all of that. But at the same time, I really wonder, can he galvanize them to a Super Bowl? Because let's be honest, this team has the type of build to be a Super Bowl contender if the person under center is playing well and the coach is calling the right plays and really running the ship well. And I feel like those are the two uncertain things. And then Allen Robinson is kind of like the cherry on top that you just hope, works out.
The Justin Fields connection is ugly right now. I don't know what's going on, but he likes the guy Mooney a lot better. Darnell Mooney, he likes him a lot better. I don't know why though. But I hope it's a Nagy problem though, because I kind of like Allen Robinson. He's like a guy that always catches the ball.
Hard-nosed player, yeah.
Yeah, like he gets yards after the ball, but that's not really what his go-to. His go-to is he catches the ball. He comes down with it 9 times out of 10. I'm gonna get on to the next game here with the Steelers and Dub hometown, the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is a rough game for you. A lot of guys coming back from injury. The Steelers came out on top of this game. This game was an ugly game, 15-10. Big Ben had Big Ben had 266 yards in the air, surprisingly. With 1 touchdown. Najee Harris had 26 carries and 91 yards on the ground. I actually like this guy, Najee Harris. He's been a big name since high school, and Alabama University. And he's coming in the league and he's showing why he's been a big name since high school. and I like that guy. But the leading receiver was Deontay Johnson. He had 6 catches and 98 yards. And then on the other side of the ball, which is Dub guys, the Cleveland Browns. Baker had 225 yards and no touchdowns, and Chubb had 16 carries for 61 yards, no touchdowns. I want to go right back to Dub with a major question, and I think this is a chemistry question. I don't know if you're good at science. This is a chemistry question. I want to talk about trading Odell Beckham Jr. because him and Baker chemistry obviously is an ugly thing. When Odell and him plays, it's like he's forcing him the ball, but it is in bad spots.
Yeah, it's tough. They definitely don't play as well with Odell, like the way that
Yeah.
he should be playing. I wonder if there's still some residual decline from the injury, like if he hasn't gotten back in shape fully, at least game shape in the way that we want. I mean, we've seen sometimes where he leaves a cornerback and he looks good, but for the most part, there hasn't been a lot of moments where you're just like, yo, that's the guy that we traded for. In my heart of hearts, I would love to see them hold out, keep Odell, and get a bigger free agent quarterback. I like Baker. I really do, but I just don't know if he is quote unquote the guy. And I think this does go back to what I said earlier of I feel bad that younger guys don't get an opportunity to really have a longer track record, but it's just hard when you get thrusted into a starting spot right away. If he had sat behind someone, it'd have been different. What's that?
Would you say that Baker Mayfield is a young guy at this point?
Well, I mean, he did some time in college, but I mean, he's
been in the
3
league
years
for a
into the
minute.
league.
What has been 3-4 years?
3
Yeah,
years.
he's been in the league for a minute. I don't know, like
He's 3 years in.
I feel that. So okay, at the same time though, well, before Baker Mayfield took y'all to the playoffs, what was the last time the Browns were in the playoffs doing something?
Just 2005, my senior year of high school.
And did they win or no?
Kelly Holcomb and Tim Couch, and we lost to the Steelers.
What was the last time y'all won a playoff game?
I think it was 1992 when we played we lost to the Broncos.
I thought you was back to the Jim Brown days.
No, that's when we were winning championships.
I guess my question is if you really move on from the quarterback that took y'all to the first win in the playoffs, and who knows how, like, are you just gonna get the Detroit Lions treatment, just like just curse permanently, just like the permanent curse?
At this point, Jared, I feel like it's a couple things to think about. One, do you want to wait and see if Odell really pops and is the Odell of old? Because if he is, him and Jarvis,
it's not about
those running backs.
Yeah, no, it's not about Odell. It's about Baker.
Right, but if they don't have the chemistry, I feel like it's to some degree it's going to kind of be one or the other. Is it going to be a new quarterback under center who can deliver the ball to all of his receivers, who is not dependent on the running game, or is it going to be you ship Odell, keep Baker, and allow him to continue to grow with the guys that he's been growing with prior to Odell?
Because when he plays without Odell, it's like he's a machine. I ain't gonna lie. I like when he plays without Odell. He distributes the ball well, like he spreads it. It's like when Odell plays, it's like he's like, I got to give it to Odell. But then he does.
He gets it around well. Peoples, Rashard Higgins. I mean, all of those guys that you don't know about unless you're a real Cleveland fan. They look like Pro Bowl caliber receivers when Baker doesn't have the pressure of Odell. And I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah.
Let's get on to the next game here. I want to talk about this Rams and this Texans game. This guy Matthew Stafford is lighting it up, and it might be the MVP this year. He in this game he had 305 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. And his running back Darrell Henderson had 14 carries and 90 yards and 1 touchdown. And I want to talk about this guy right here because he might get Offensive Player of the Year at receiver. And I also want to talk about this guy because he is something you don't see on the regular, like, because this is crazy. A Caucasian receiver, and he's holding it down for the guy. He's holding it down for you guys. He had 7 catches and 115 yards and a touchdown in the air. That guy is crazy. He might get Offensive Player of the Year. No, without a doubt. Like, I might have to go to him.
I mean, now that Derrick Henry out the picture, unfortunately.
Crazy.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I mean, that connection they have is, I mean, the people have been talking about it since week 1, since week 2, but the connection between Stafford and Cup is unlike any other in the league right now. I mean, it is, it reminds you of the connection that you saw between Brady and Moss, in the legendary New England season. So, it seems like every single week Cooper's going to give you 100+ yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns, and it's crazy. You can just pencil that in. You can literally just pencil that in. And as long as they've got that, and then obviously what went out and did, today to go out and get Von Miller, that's a scary, scary team right there.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that Von Miller move, man. I think that moved him right up to Super Bowl favorites. Like, no, past Brady, past my Cowboys, because my Cowboys are up there. If you don't think they are, but that ran past everybody, like shoots them right to the top, because that makes that D line scary. That front seven is scary now. It's very scary. I don't know how you going. Who do you
disciplined? They're disciplined.
Right?
They're not sloppy.
I think for guys like Leonard Floyd, this is gonna be a career changing moment for him. This is gonna get him paid in the offseason somewhere else. That was a scary move. But let's get on to this next game with the Packers and the Cardinals. And this was a ugly game as well. Aaron Rodgers hit in this game 184 yards in the air. I think that's right. Yeah, 184 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Aaron Jones had 59 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown and 50. Oh, hold on 1 second. My handwriting bad. He had 5 catches and 51 yards. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dillon was looking like a wrecking ball up there. AJ Dillon was just running people over left and right.
Yeah,
man, he just got a twitch about him, man. I love Aaron Jones, but I'm like, whoo, this dude twitchy. Like, he quick, looks spry. I don't know.
I'm trying to see why they not ball so much. Like, why do they like the Dillon guy better than Aaron Jones? Like, what's going on? Because
Aaron Jones been dealing with an ankle injury too.
Is that what it is?
He's been dealing with some injuries. I think the other thing is they recognize they're like, they should be going deep in the playoffs. So I think they're trying to keep Aaron Jones fresh as well. Trying to make sure they don't, wear him down, halfway through the season or whatever. Aaron Jones obviously is an elite running back, but if you got a guy like AJ Dillon that you can just hand the rock and give it to him 15 times, you're going to get 70+ yards.
Yeah,
that's valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy that they won this game because Devontae Adams was out this week for COVID protocol, I think. So he was out this week, and that's probably why Aaron Rodgers didn't have his regular 2+ in the air. He had the little 184.
Lazard was out too. I mean, most of his receiving core was out.
Yeah.
So they totally changed up the game plan. Played the field position game, let the defense take over, and defense came through.
And to knock off the number one team, you could argue the number one team in the league based off of their record, with being that shorthanded. That speaks to Matt LaFleur's coaching as well, to be able to change the game plan up and to really run through the running backs to make his game a game of running back receiver committee. So that was, and they had a huge game from Cobb as well, a good vintage game, which might have been his best game probably that you'll see all season.
He had the 2 touchdowns.
That's right. It all came together the right way for him. So I think you got to definitely deal some of that to coaching, and then of course the greatness of Aaron Rodgers to still hold it together, stay calm and collective, and put people in the right place.
And I want to talk about this number one team in the Cardinals, because on the other side of the ball, Kyler Murray had 274 yards in the air, but he didn't have a touchdown, and he had 2 interceptions. And one of those interceptions was major, and that was to AJ Green. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But D-Hop in this game, he had 2 catches, and on one of his catches, he went for I think 55 yards or something like that. It was supposed to be a touchdown, but he got called back. He was holding the face mask or something like that. Yeah. And after that play, he really didn't playing the game that much. He was coming in, but they say it was from him coming back in the game. Like, he was supposed to stay out the game type. But he didn't really impact the game. He just had 2 catches, 60 yards. And I want to talk about that last play that they had to AJ Green with one of Kyler Murray interceptions. What was this guy thinking?
I think he just decided to retire mid route. He just.
They say he looked up at the jumbotron mid route and started watching the game.
He was just ready to retire. I think AJ Green's had a long and illustrious career. I think he just decided when you know it's time, you know.
Oh my God.
He knew.
And you know what I was thinking? I'm thinking like, why didn't D-Hop sub himself in the game this play? What was he at this play? But let's talk about this next game with the Titans and the Colts. And the Titans came out of this game 34-31. It was actually a game in OT. Tannehill had 265 in the air with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And Derrick Henry had 28 carries and 68 yards on the ground. And A.J. Brown had 10 catches and 155 yards with a touchdown. And I want to go right into Derrick Henry. They say that he might have a season-ending foot injury.
Yep.
He broke one of his bones in his foot, and they say he might be out for the season. Let's talk about this because this is something major. This could impact the Titans everything. Without this guy,
I think it means the Titans have to be an entirely different team, right? Like they were running absolutely everything for Derrick Henry, and now with him out, you got to reinvent yourself.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, and they have the receiving core to do it. I mean, you have Julio Jones on one side and A.J. Brown on another one. Excuse me. Not to mention, if they can pull off a trade. Now, hearing about this, them working out Adrian Peterson, I've always been an AP fan, but I don't feel like he has it in the tank to be the number one running back. Well, yeah. The throwback jersey. I love it. I just don't know if he has it to be the number one guy there.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mickles is it either. I feel like they cannot be cheap in this moment. They have everything they need to get through the AFC if they go get a really strong running back. And I think Marlon Mack is that guy.
Oh, that'd be a nice move. Because I think he actually wants to trade out of Indy, which is the team they just played, which is ironic. But I think he wants out of Indy though, so that'd be a nice move for them to do with him out with this season-ending injury.
Yeah, he wants out. He wants out, and it seems like the team, wants to give him the give him that courtesy, basically, of letting him go to the team that he wants to go to. I do think that they probably do need to sign somebody to try and fill that role to at least keep the running game viable. But when you have AJ Brown and Julio Jones out there, there's no reason you shouldn't be passing the like if you don't have Derrick Henry, like no one's filling in Derrick Henry's shoes. Derrick Henry was on an absolutely historic pace this season. He's still probably going to finish as one of the top, I don't know, 15 running backs on the season yardage wise, and he's playing less than half the season just because of how dominant his season was. But you're not going to have anybody filling in really for Derrick Henry. You have to get someone that's going to be serviceable as a running back, someone that can really fill the shoes and fill a void. But you're not replacing Derrick Henry. So, I think the pivot is pretty clear. Like you got to start feeding AJ Brown the ball like 10. Like he should be having 10 receptions a game every game. You know what I mean? Like that man is a monster, a certified monster. Yeah. So.
But just the thing with Derrick Henry out though, he draws so much attention. He gets the AJ Brown the one-on-one and stuff, but not like you can roll coverage to AJ Brown or Julio Jones because you don't have that Derrick Henry to take up that attention. So I don't know, but we gonna see what the Titans do.
But if they have a serviceable back that they can run play action through and really, generate some stuff. Not when you're looking for someone to be flashy and give you, 20 touchdowns. If that happens, great. But you want someone that the defense has to respect and they have to, play man to some degree or a soft zone that you can really have AJ Brown just really tear up in that coverage. And, also there's another option out there. This one may be a reach, but like call Cleveland to see if you can get Dearness Johnson.
I was thinking that too, Dub. I'm not gonna lie.
He's a backup. You can finesse it as we're gonna give you some picks or whatever. You still got oh man, why is his name slipping my mind? You still got Kareem Hunt coming back. So it's not like this guy's going to be a huge part of your, playoff run. Let us get him. We believe in him.
Yeah. The other option I was thinking about is Melvin Gordon, right?
Yeah.
And from
nice.
They've got that two-headed backfield between Williams and Gordon. Javonte Williams obviously is the future for them at the running back position. So if you can, if you can trade away Melvin Gordon for a pick or two, Melvin Gordon still, he's been killing it this year. So, again, none of these guys are gonna take over for Derrick Henry. No one's filling those shoes, but they would be a quality starting running back.
I agree.
All right, I'm gonna run through the rest of the games for this week, and then we're gonna get on to some predictions for next week's games. We got Washington here had 10 to Denver's 17. That was a slugger game. Jerry Judy came back this week. Then we had the Jaguars 7 to the Seahawks 31. That was a destroy game. Gino actually had a nice game that game. Then we had the Bengals versus the Jets. The Bengals had 31 to the Jets 34. This guy Mike White had 405 yards in the air with 3 touchdowns.
Magic
That's
Mike,
crazy.
let's go.
Magic Mike. Somebody tag it. The Magic Mike. But Michael Carter also helped him too. He had 77 rushing yards in the touchdown with 95 yards on catching too. So that was pretty somebody whoever in fantasy go sign Michael Carter. That guy's he's balling.
Oh, he's already been signed.
Let's talk about this game. The Panthers versus the Falcons. The Panthers won this game 19 to the Falcons 13. And I actually want to talk about a little bit about this game because I want to talk about Calvin Ridley. He actually said he's going to take a step back from football. I don't know why he said because of personal reason. But this is major for the Falcons. They already was bad, but now they're going to be really, really, really bad. They just lost their 2 major receivers in a couple months. So Cal Pitts get ready to get 14, 15 targets a game.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
no doubt. I mean, that's just it's on that point real quick. Obviously it's a bummer for the Falcons. It's hard to say they were really going to do much of anything this season, anyways. But Calvin Ridley, he's in a contract season basically. He's got the 5th-year player option, I guess. But this is someone who is playing for major money. To take a look at that, and then take a look at your life and know that you just got to step away. Like you said, Juwan, we don't know what's going on. He hasn't been too specific with what the situation is. But just hope the best for the guy. Hopefully he can get his life sorted out, and maybe he comes back to football, and that'd be great. And if not, hopefully everything's all right.
Yeah, and he said it was mental health reasons. So we don't know if it's a depression or what's going on. But I just want to piggyback off what you just said, Jared. It's important to keep in mind that this is important for people to see grown men be vulnerable and be honest with themselves and know like, hey, I need to step away. And for a minute I was really looking at the Ben Simmons situation in Philly. And then when he, I hope it's not a PR stunt, but when he said, his mental health wasn't right, I think that's a very serious thing. So speedy recovery to him. Hopefully everything goes well and we see him on the field soon. But
absolutely,
kudos for taking care of yourself.
No doubt. Cal, whoever you, I hope you're watching the show. Do what you got to do to get right. I want to see you on the field, bro. Yeah. What's up, everybody out there? Welcome back to Free Game. You kicking it with your host, WonGotti, whatever you want to call me. This is a continuation of yesterday. I didn't get to really finish. We got to do predictions for next week's games. So it's going to be me and Jared today. What's up, Jay? It's going to be me and Jared today calling the games today. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. First game of the Jets versus the Colts. What you thinking, Jay?
Man, on paper, I feel like this is definitely, Colts have the advantage. They seem to me like they have a pretty full team other than Carson Wentz, who's the type of player who will throw a pick 6 at the 2-yard line, but then will also get up and take the team the length of the field. I don't know if you watched that play where he was like almost sacked, went down on the hand on the football, kept himself up and kept playing. That was a wild play.
You do that a lot.
Yeah, he's the only player I've ever heard of spraining both ankles on the same play. Like, that is wild. my man had 2 sprained ankles on the same play. That's wild.
That's great.
So my head is saying Colts, but my heart is with Magic Mike and the Jets. So I think the Jets might stay hot here. I think the Jets might have found a little something with Mike White. So I'm gonna pick the upset. I think the Jets are gonna come away with the dub.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out with the Jets too. Magic Mike with the 400 yards last week. I think he's gonna come out on top this week too. But next up we got the Bills versus the Jags. Who you got?
Man, that's not even a question, honestly. To me, the better question is: will Urban Meyer still have his job by the time the game is over? Maybe, I don't know. He might be heading back to his restaurant in Ohio pretty soon. But with that said, it's definitely the Bills. It's definitely the Bills. It's not even close.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out with the Bills too, because sometimes the college coaching doesn't translate over to the pros.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But nobody knows why. But that's just how it goes. And I'm rocking out with the Bills too, because obviously Josh Allen, the MVP candidate and stuff like that, and they coming off a big win from last week. So on to the next. Denver versus the Cowboys. My Cowboys.
Yeah, see, I already know what you're going to say here. I already know you got to rock with the boys. For me, it's about, does Jerry Jeudy come back and look like himself? If Teddy Bridgewater has all the weapons at hand, they've got Javonte Williams, they've got Melvin Gordon in the backfield, they've got some dudes at wide receiver. So what happens there, but it is hard to pick against. It is hard to pick against the Cowboys, especially with Denver just giving up, kind of going in a fire sale mode, giving up Von Miller, giving up some of these other dudes for 6-round picks. So, I think the Broncos might be a little low in the locker room this week. I think the Cowboys should take it pretty easily. Although I will say that is contingent on Dak Prescott being there. I don't think Cooper Rush can get it done twice in a row. So, assuming Dak's there, I think the Cowboys take it down, but it's kind of a TBD on the QB situation.
You for sure know who I got. I got them boys. I think Dak should play this week. I think last week they was just being caution. We're playing Cooper Rush. Even though Cooper Rush played a decent game. He didn't play too bad. He didn't play like I thought he was going to.
That's true.
He played better than I thought he was going to play.
That's true.
So,
that's true. Denver through the season has had a better defense than the Vikings, although, like I just said, Von Miller's out there, so who knows.
And the Von Miller thing is surprising me when him starting the season also hot, even though he didn't play the last game because of, I don't know, illness or something like that. I don't know why he didn't play last game, but they say he's gonna be good to go this following week. So that trade was surprising to me. But yeah, I'm rocking with the Cowboys this week, as I'll be rocking with them every week. But next game, we got the Browns, Browns. Shout out to Dub versus the Bengals. This is gonna be a tough one for them because I know they got a lot of injuries on the Cleveland side. Who you got, Jay?
A lot of injuries, some torn labrums. I think it's going to be the Bengals. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I think they're looking to have a bounce back game. Last week wasn't great for them, losing to the Jets. Obviously, Cleveland put up 10 points last week. That's not going to get it done against the Bengals. So, I think in the Battle of Ohio, I think Joe Burrow's taking this one.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals too because 10 points is not going to do it versus this year's Bengals team. This team is a high scoring team with the Joe Burrow and the Jamar Chase connection, and I think it will be better this week because last week I don't think he had as much on the yardage tip, but he did end up with a touchdown. So so I guess he had a bad week, but a good week, so week.
If you're a rookie, anytime you get in the end zone, you're feeling good about it. Jamar Chase is up there, so far through 8 weeks of the season or whatever with or 7 weeks of the season.
With anybody for real.
Anyways, he's up there. He's up there with Randy Moss. Like it's Jamar Chase and Randy Moss right now.
Yeah, he definitely got that rookie of the rookie of the year on lock. That's pretty much his.
Yeah,
bar injury.
Yeah, as long as he keeps it up, or even something comparable, it's a crazy season. So yeah, I think the future's bright in Cincinnati, and yeah, I'm gonna take them in the Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, but I'm gonna rock out with the Bengals. But next up, we got the Falcons versus the Saints. Who you got, Jay?
Man, this is a tough one for me, but I will say, just because so the Saints are 5-2. By the way, we should have covered this, I think, a little bit more specifically last night. But I think you got to look at Sean Payton as potentially coach of the year right now. Definitely up there in that conversation with what he's doing with the 5-2 Saints. Jameis Winston, quarterback. Jameis historically has not been the most consistent or winning of quarterbacks, and yet he was looking pretty good this season. Not great, but pretty decent. They beat the Packers. They beat the Buccaneers. I don't think any other team in the league can say that. Obviously, they can't. So they were looking good, but now you either have Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian coming in at quarterback. That's tough. On the other hand, the Falcons have not been a prolific defense. And then you look at the Falcon side of the ball. You've got Calvin Ridley out indefinitely, and so then there's a real void there at the pass catcher position. Whether you've got obviously the rookie stepping up, but at tight end, but can you lean on someone like Russell Gage? So even though all that to say, kind of waffling, but all that to say, even though I think the Saints have some trouble at quarterback, I think I'm going to take the Saints. I think they're going to lean on Alvin Kamara, and get the squeak out the win.
Yeah, seems like we picking all the Saints here because I'm rocking out with the Saints too. And this week on the coaching of the year thing, I think another Sean might have something to say about that, and Sean McVay with the Rams. So that'll probably I ain't gonna lie though, but Sean Payton is definitely a candidate here and this year with definitely with the talent that he got on the field and he produced the production that he's putting out there is great. The wins that he's coming out with, I mean to say.
That's a good point. That might be a segment for another day. Coach of the year.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Patriots versus the Panthers here. Who you got, Jay?
Yep. Look, I think
the mud game.
I think we're gonna have a bounce back week from the Panthers. I think Sam Darnold is gonna show everybody that he is the real deal. That he was kicked out too soon. That he was cast aside too soon. And no, I'm just kidding. There's no way that's gonna happen against a Bill Belichick defense. I am looking for my guy DJ Moore to finally have a decent game for the first time since week 4 of the season. But I do think between the running game for the Patriots and the defense, I think the Patriots are probably going to take that one home and probably pretty easily. I think it might be another blowout New York Jets style. So I definitely think it's the Patriots.
Yeah, I definitely think the Patriots going to grind out an ugly win here, but at the same time, it's some talk that CMC might practice this Wednesday, so we got to see how that's going to go. Because if he play, that's definitely a change in the game plan for Belichick.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, obviously CMC is one of the most impactful offensive players in the league. If he's back, that's a big deal. But just coming off an injury, I think they'd probably at least play it slow. Split with Chuba Hubbard, and I think if you don't have 100% Christian McCaffrey back there, I think the Patriots are just looking too good right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Next up, we got the Raiders versus the Giants here. The new Raiders.
New Raiders.
Yeah, the new Raiders. They're firing that coach John Gruden. Is why I say that. Well, who you got here, Jay?
Yeah, it definitely seemed like Gruden had to go. Man, it's a tough one. It's hard to pick the Raiders, obviously, with everything going on with them today. Henry Ruggs being involved in a DUI car accident that left somebody dead. That's a lot of that stacked on top of everything else they've been dealing with this year. It's hard to pick them in this matchup, even though I think they probably are the better team overall. So I think with all the off-field distractions, everything they're going through, I think there's a good chance the Giants pull it out. And the Giants haven't been looking too bad. I think they might get Saquon back this week. That's what some of the early reports are looking like. So I think the Giants might be able to. I think the Giants probably pull this one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Raiders on here because I actually kind of starting to believe in more Derek Carr And I think John Gruden leaving is actually a good thing for him because it was more like I think it's more like a weight off his shoulders because I think it's more harder to play under John Gruden because he's there coach like you got to do what I say, coach. So I think it was like a weight off of his shoulders. So I'm believing in Derek Carr now. And they actually not that bad this year, but I ain't gonna lie, off the field stuff, there's a lot going on for them right now, like you said. So emotionally wise, I don't know where they at, but I'm gonna rock out with them this week.
Yep. Yeah, it's just a question of can they shut out the noise? Can they focus on what they got to do? And it seems like Coach Bisaccia is a real players coach. So you never know, but I think especially if Saquon's back, I think the Giants take that one down.
Next up here we got the Texans versus the Dolphins.
Maybe the worst game of the year.
Yeah, it's an ugly game.
I think both teams are 1-7. Not the type of game that you're going to watch unless the highlights flash on NFL Red Zone. But with that said, I think it is looking like it's looking like Tua's on the upswing these days. Jalen Waddle does seem to be a legit player. So even with some of the news sort of surrounding the Texans quarterback situation, Tyrod Taylor potentially being back, I think Miami probably gets it done this week, just because you got to pick somebody. So I think it's probably someone's got to win.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins this week just because I have to pick a team. And I like the Tua and Jalen Waddle connection because I got Jalen Waddle on my team. You get about 12 targets a game, even though they like because the line can't block for Tua, so it's like they like the little quick dink and dunk passes. Like so, he probably averaged like 5 yards a catch.
At some point, you just got to hope that breaks one. That he takes the screen to the house or something. But it's not a lot. It's not a lot downfield happening for them right now.
Like dude had 12 targets and 12 catches, but like 70 yards. Like that's crazy. But, I'm just gonna go on to the next game here. It's actually an interesting game as well because we got Joe Vikings here versus the Baltimore Ravens. A team that's actually hot.
Yeah,
but I think So who you got here, Jay?
Real hot. I gotta take my Vikings. I don't know if I don't know if I was betting this game if I would take the Vikings. But with that said, like we were talking about a little bit kind of off the air. The Vikings are the type of team that will lose to Cooper Rush and then beat Lamar Jackson in back-to-back weeks. So, I'm looking for a bounce-back Kirk Cousins game. We get about 4 of them per year. So I think this might be the week. This might be one of his 4 weeks this season. I'm looking for Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson to really go off. Hopefully Dalvin Cook can get the running game going. And if our defense can just stay in front of Lamar Jackson, that might be enough to squeak out the win. So I'm gonna take the Vikings. I'm gonna pick with my heart rather than my head.
Yeah, I was just gonna say picking with the heart over picking with the head, because I'm definitely walking out with Baltimore this week. The run game just too deadly. It's just too deadly. Like that should be all I really have to say. The run game is just too deadly for the Vikings right now. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Who you got, Jay?
I gotta think that the Chargers bounce back this week. If they are who we thought they were early in the season, Justin Herbert, I feel like this is a game where he steps up and plays. This seems like the type of game where Mike Williams and Keenan Allen can go off. Obviously, you've got Austin Eckler, one of the best running backs in the league back there. Their defense isn't going to stop anybody. I expect Jalen Hurts to probably have like 200 yards rushing and probably 200 yards passing in this game. So it's really all going to come down, I think, to the Chargers offense. But I have some faith in them still. If they go on a 3-game losing streak, their chances of making the playoffs are really, really low. So I think they probably have just enough to pull it out. It might be another one of those games like Chargers played against Cleveland a couple weeks back where it was like 47-42 or something like that. So it might be another really high scoring game, which would, as a fan of football is always fun to see. But I think Chargers probably pull this one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out with the Chargers too in this one. Justin Herbert and those guys, because I don't think Justin Hurts yet got his NFL swagger yet. Like, I don't think he got his base in the NFL yet. I think he still needs some more development.
Yeah, it's
With,
something. It's something about him where like every week the stats look decent, but if you watch the game, eye test is just off. Like he's missing wide receivers. It just doesn't look like it's there.
Yeah, you got him on like your fantasy team. He's a great player to have because
I mean,
he gonna attack on the ground and in the air. But it's like it's to me it's more like a, I don't want to say he's a college quarterback because he's like a one guy read. Like, and when I say that, he watches one guy like the whole play, and if that guy is open, it's run. It's straight to run, and that was something that was big with Lamar when he first came in the league, and you can see now he's developing into a beautiful quarterback because he goes through his progressions from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 back to 1 and stuff like that and hitting checkdowns. But that comes with the more time you put in and more games you play.
Yeah. No doubt. So we'll see. Hopefully it can be something.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock out with the Chargers in this one. Next up, we got actually another coach of the year over here at AZ. Another candidate. We got them going against the 49ers this year. I mean, this week. Who you got, Jay? AZ versus the 49ers.
Ooh, to me, this isn't even going to be a close game. The 49ers have not looked especially good this season. Arizona, for a bunch of the season, has looked like one of the top teams in the league. Obviously, 7-0 once they lost the Packers. I expect them to bounce back in a big way. Kyler Murray is a glitch. The dude, it looks like he's playing a video game out there on the field. So, you know, I think he's going to have a big game. I think I'm looking for James Conner actually to have a big game. I think he's going to sort of set the tone, set up the play action pass. And I think DeAndre Hopkins has a huge game. Maybe goes for 2 bills. But yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to run away with this one.
Actually, I want to speak on the Cardinals because the last game leaving out of the Packers game, Kyler was a little limpy.
That's true. And
with that ankle, and D-Hop with the hamstring. So we got to see how that is coming in to this game too.
That's a good point. Definitely got to monitor that situation. I
might switch my whole pick.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that made me concerned. Obviously, you know, it does all kind of come down to Kyler Murray and his health. But assuming that he's healthy, I think it's a blowout.
Yeah. If everything goes as it's supposed to go, the Cardinals will definitely win this game. But if it doesn't, and D-Hop and Kyler have to sit this week, the 49ers can win this game because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't a quarterback that's bad, but he's a quarterback that can get it done. He's a game manager.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking for Chandler Jones to have another monster performance, assuming he's back out there on the field. Jimmy G is kind of a sitting target out there, so I look for Chandler.
Hopefully, this 49ers pass rush can get it going. It's been real sticky since Joey Bosa coming back from the ACL. He don't look the same for real, but he got to get that fast switch back. Maybe he's got to get his rhythm. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, but this next, what'd you say?
It's just that we'll see. It'll be a good game to watch regardless.
Yeah, for sure. This next game we got the Packers versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs do not look as they don't look like the Chiefs. That's all I can really say.
No,
what you got here, Jay?
Watching that game last night, you know, I don't really know how the Chiefs that we know beat the Giants by 3 and barely, right? Like that game was going down to the wire. I do feel like, and I've said this for a couple of weeks now, it to me feels like the Chiefs have in some ways run out of luck. Patty Ice, Patrick Mahomes, he does stuff with the football and on the football field that I've never seen anybody do. From the sidearm passes, the jump passes, the creativity that he has. It's wild and it's fun to watch. And he even hit some of those last night. But then he also, it seems like to me like this season, he's had more passes go off his wide receivers' hands and into the defense, you know, to become a turnover, to become an interception than anybody in the league. He's got 10. I think he's got 10 interceptions so far this season. And I think half of those hit receivers' hands and kept going. So, if he can bounce back and if the offense can really click into gear, then that does cover up for a lot of the defensive struggle. On the other hand, their defense is like historically bad. And so when you look at the other side of the ball, when you look at Aaron Rodgers, assuming that he gets Devontae Adams coming back, Alan Lazard, some of these guys, it's hard not to imagine it's going to be like a 45-45 game. And in that situation, it's hard not to pick Aaron Rodgers to come out of there. I think their defense looks a little better than the Chiefs. So to me, this is going to be a game of the week. I think this could be a really exciting game. And I think ultimately the Packers are probably going to come away with the dub.
Yeah, I seen the Chiefs just traded for Melvin Ingram today. Yeah. That's a big trade for them. Melvin Ingram from the Steelers. If y'all don't know who that is, look him up. He's a nice DN. He got some time on him. He been with also was with the San Diego Chargers and the LA Chargers.
Yeah, he's a stud. No, he's a stud. And I don't know if you watch. I don't know if you watched the Pat McAfee show, Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays. I got to watch them this morning. This afternoon. It was a good conversation that he had with Aaron Rodgers. Talked a little bit about Patrick Mahomes. It seems like there's a lot of respect there. Obviously, those are two guys with some of the most incredible arm talent in league history. So it'll be fun to watch. I think regardless of what happens, it'll be fun to watch. But I do think the Green Bay Packers probably come away with the win.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come out. I'm definitely gonna go with the Packers here because the Chiefs' defense is horrible this year. I hope the Melvin Ingram trade will make their defense better, but I doubt it because it's just one player and they need something in the secondary versus on the D line because the secondary is horrible, it's stinky outside of Tyrann Matthews. But I'm gonna go with the Packers game. Next up here we got the Titans versus the Rams. This is an interesting game because we might get a Von Miller fight in this game. So who you got this game, Jay? And there's no Derrick Henry.
Yeah, the lack of Derrick Henry I think is huge. If they had Derrick,
got AP though.
They do have AP, who is my guy. Love me some Adrian Peterson, but I don't think he's the answer at this point in his career. He's 36 years old. From what we've seen of him lately in the league, it's not been great. So I wish all the best for him. I hope that he has an incredible game, an incredible rest of the season. But when you're talking about now having to put it in the hands of Ryan Tannehill and hope that he really wins the game for you against Jalen Ramsey, against Aaron Donald, against Von Miller, now like that's a stacked defense, and they're gonna have to put up points because like we were talking about previously. That Stafford to Cup connection is real. He's got Robert Woods. He's got Van Jefferson on the outside. He's got Tyler Higbee at the tight end position. He's got Darrell Henderson at running back. So they're going to put up points. That offense is going to put up points, and the defense is tough. So I think without Derrick Henry, I think the Titans are probably going to go down here. The good thing for them is they have such a lead in their division that they don't really need this win exactly. Right. So obviously they're going to go out there and play their hearts out, but I think the deck is stacked against them. I think LA takes this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely have to rock out with LA in this game because there's just so many names on that defense, and it's crazy. And then Matthew Stafford playing at MVP level, so it's crazy. And then I want to say I like Adrian Peterson. It's hard not to love Adrian Peterson because of who he is, but at the age he at right now, he just isn't what he used to be. He's a good back because he just had this year or the past year with the Lions. I think he hit the 600 mark with them, so that isn't bad, but it isn't Derrick Henry, and I think that's what Tannehill needs. So I'm gonna have to rock out with the Rams in this game. Next up, we got our beloved, our home team, our hometown, our Bears versus the Steelers. Who you got in this one, Jay?
Oh, I've got this is a game of the future versus the past. This is Justin Fields versus Ben Roethlisberger. This is two quarterbacks, one who is mobile, one who used to be mobile. And when you look at this last week, the Steelers put up 15 points total against a Cleveland defense that is decent but not incredible. Although shout out to Myles Garrett for looking like the actual Hulk. But with that said, I'm again maybe picking with my heart. here, but I think the Bears have a great chance to take this one down. I think it's probably going to be a low-scoring game. I think both defenses are going to do a lot. But yeah, I believe in Justin Fields, man. I think the guy is the real deal. I think hopefully he figures something out this last week. Hopefully the Bears figure something out with Matt Nagy being out with COVID. Hopefully they figure out some type of situation, some type of way to coach the guys up on the field or whatever. Obviously we didn't get the win, but they played decently well throughout the game. So I'm gonna take the Bears. I think the Bears take the Steelers down.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers this game because of their defense. The defense is just amazing, and then Ben can just game manage enough just to get the win this game. I gotta go against the home team. I'm sick. I think Justin Fields got to develop more as a quarterback. And this defense is not the team to be developing, be a developing quarterback against.
That's true. Mike Tomlin is no joke, but everyone's got to start somewhere. So I'm looking for a big game from Justin Fields.
I definitely like what he did this past week though on the feet. Even though they didn't get the win, I like what he did this week on the feet and in that air. So I like what he did.
Yep.
That's all the games for this week, folks. So yes, I guess we gonna have to see y'all next week. We gonna sign out. We gonna have to sign out here. Shout out to everybody for watching. Tune in next week to catch results for these games and predictions for next week. Shout out to everybody. Rocking with Free Game. See y'all next week. Free Game.